Good morning. I'm Keith Glass, City of Monroe Police Department, and I got Lieutenant Tracy Hanson with me today. And what we want to do is point out a problem that's not only citywide, but it's probably a nationwide, statewide, and countywide problem, and that's just litter. And while this is not the most devastating crime that we deal with in the City of Monroe, as you can see from the video, it's a lot of trash, and we're standing right here at the East Spring Street exit coming off 78 Highway, and this litter was picked up about 10 or 12 days ago. And what I'm want to express to you is this is your community. If you see somebody littering, go ahead and call the 911, give them a tag number, and officers inside the city will respond to that. If you can't call 911 for some reason, if you can take down a tag number, Lieutenant Tracy Hanson is going to kind of be heading up something for me on this litter for a while, and I'd ask that you just email her the tag number. Her email is thanson@monroega.gov. That's thanson@monroega.gov. And again, it's your community, and as you can see, and he'll scan around and show you some more trash, but this trash was picked up with community service by community service workers about 12 days ago, and you can see how much is built up. So we really need your assistance, and we're looking at some ways also of places where we have a lot of this, maybe getting some video out there so we can catch them also on video. But we just need your help with that, and if you have any other problems with the crime or whatever in the City of Monroe that we can help you with, please contact us at the City of Monroe Police Department.
I just look forward to hearing from citizens here in the community, and we can work together and hopefully make Monroe not only a safer place, but more appealing to the eye. And just like Chief said, just email me with any problems. If you see anyone littering, or if you can get a tag number, and we can follow up with those people, just email me, thanson@monroega.gov.
And we thank you for your help.
Where do you come alive? A stadium, lecture hall, a music hall, church potluck? This year, you have a new spot, walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.
It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. Now that's living healthy and green.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
On behalf of the Walton Proud Committee, we have an exciting accomplishment for 4 realtors have been achieved our Walton Proud Realtor certification. And to do that, it was no cakewalk. They had to first be a member of the Walton County Chamber of Commerce. and they had to attend our annual VIP bus tour. And then they had to pick 3 more things that we felt would give them a good idea of the many positive things happening in education here in Walton County. So they had to help with one of the middle school reality check programs, volunteer at Harmony Elementary for Walton Proud Day. They had to visit Monroe Area High School or Loganville High School. These are 2 schools that were not on the bus tour. Or participate in the Chamber Career Expo and attend the Chamber Education Summit. So this was not easy. But we're going to recognize these 4 fantastic professionals today who are doing their part to share the good news of what's happening here with a certificate. And then Angela Garman, who is a driving force behind the Walton Proud Committee, has flash drives that have lots of information, because once you achieve this designation, you receive a fancy logo to be able to use in your advertising that sets you apart from other realtors, because you are certified to speak intelligently about all of the intelligent education choices we have here in Walton County. So if I could please call you up. Our very first is Vicki Cole of Georgia Realty Company. And next, it is my pleasure, Sandra Shirley, Georgia Realty Company. Angela Pierce of Remax Preferred. And one of the people who helped us form this program and helped develop what would be beneficial to realtors. So we used a lot of her brain power, and she was very honest with us about some things that would not work. So I appreciate her very much for that. Terry as well. And now it is my pleasure to turn this over to the biggest Walton Proud cheerleader, except for my boss, Mr. Gary Hines.
We'll talk about that, that ranking, we'll talk about that. I'd like to introduce our program at this time, and we always look forward every year after the session is over for our representatives and senators to come and speak with us at a chamber luncheon. We appreciate them being here today, and we appreciate what they do. Terry was a little worried about me introducing them because I am kind of vocal about certain things going on in the legislature, which I think every superintendent probably is. But I do appreciate very much these 3 gentlemen, and of course Senator Jones couldn't be here today, it's his regrets, but these 3 gentlemen, because they do communicate with us and they do listen, and we don't always get our way, we don't always agree, but at the same time, they have a big job of representing us in Atlanta, and I think we have a very good delegation here today with these 3 gentlemen, and we appreciate them being here. They're going to go in this order. Representative Kirby is going to speak first, then Representative Williamson, and then Senator Cowser will be third. So, gentlemen, if you would just follow each other in that order, we appreciate you being here. Let's give them a big hand for being here.
Thank you, Gary, and it is a pleasure to be with you here today. And we appreciate all the things you say, because you remember, besides being representative, I've got 2 daughters that graduated from Walton Public Schools, and I served my third in Walton County Public Schools. So, it is important to hear from you. It's like important to hear from all of you out there. This last legislative session was certainly one I thought was very interesting. people ask me, what did you spend the most time on in transportation bill? I said, no, actually, I spent the most time on trying to fix bad legislation or kill bad legislation. And saw more of it this time than I think I ever have. And stuff that still we couldn't kill and get out of the house and run across the hall and sit or gather and test the bill. I mean, here's a couple of numbers. These kill these bills for us. And we did a lot of that work. And not just me, but Representative Williamson and all the others down there that saw a lot of things that we just didn't understand why these were hitting the floor, why they were getting out of committee, and what they were, did not see them as a good thing for the state of Georgia. So we spent a lot of time doing that. We did spend a lot of time on the transportation bill, so I figured I'd spend just a few minutes on that. It's very complicated. It's a very complex bill. There's a lot of moving parts to it. And somebody always wants to ask the first thing is, well, how much did you raise our taxes? And not being a political answer at all, to tell you the truth, it all depends on how and when you calculate it. It could be anywhere from as low as a 2 cent a gallon increase to a 6 cents a gallon increase on the excise tax that we converted to. Depending on when you calculated it, over the last 4-year average, it goes as low as 2%. What we had a 4% sales tax, calculated percentage, on top of the 7% excise tax that was already in place. But 3% of that 4% was exempt. So then we came back and had another 3%, because that 1% that was exempt went to the general fund, and 3% then went to some transportation purposes in some way, shape, or form. But it's all percentage, and it was calculated twice a year, every 6 months, or when there was a drastic change in the price, and depending on the average, and gas is $4 a gallon, $2 a gallon here in the last recent history. So it's where I will tell you, if somebody's saying they raised your taxes by this amount, they're doing that just to give you a specific number to go react to a certain way. If they're telling you it's a range and it's a little more complex than this and that, and here's what we're doing for you, then they're trying to tell you a pretty straight story. That's what we're going to try to do. The excise tax on your own fuel is going to be 26 cents a gallon. There's no more percentage sales tax at the state level, no exempt or non-exempt. It's on top of the 7% excise tax that was already there. Somewhere around $20 to $60 a year for the average citizen, buying about 1,000 gallons of gas a year to pay for transportation, infrastructure, everything, and manufacturing. The other thing that's important in this bill, and I think we did a pretty poor job doing it, is about maintaining our current roads and fixing and maintaining our bridges in the state. There's not a new mile of road in this $1 billion or 900 million, whatever it's calculated. This is maintaining what we have. In the fiscal year budget, there is money for new roads and new projects and things moving forward like we've done in the past. But in the last 20-some years, the money to maintain current roads was not at the level it should have been. And that's what kind of put us in this position. And people want us to say good Republican policies are not to raise taxes, but good Republican policies are not to kick the can down the road. We got to stand up and do what's right, and if it's not popular, and make sure we're providing safe, adequate highways, railways, and all other transportation that people in this state need to continue to attract business and make sure our citizens are driving safely. Other things in this bill to highlight, we repealed the airline tax exemption on their jet fuel. Back when Delta filed bankruptcy, they came to the General Assembly, said we need some help, so we gave them the exempted 1% tax on the jet fuel they bought down at Hartsfield, and that was later expanded to all commercial aviation down there. They're not in bankruptcy anymore. They're reporting millions of dollars in profit. We took that back and said, all right, you don't need that exemption from taxes to pay part, and that goes to transportation as well. We looked at the electric cars and things because all of our transportation funds are coming from gasoline or motor fuel taxes. If you drive an electric car, you will be using the roads, but you're paying nothing for that. So there's a title fee on electric vehicle, $200 for individuals or $300 for commercial. So the electric vehicles will now be paying part of the transportation maintenance for our roads and bridges. Maybe kind of segue into the next bill as a part of what I talked about, and I know it's short, but there's two others that much more information to share with you. Part of this bill also calls that we're going to have a joint House Senate committee formed to look at the entire tax structure of this state. And A lot of you know I've been an advocate for the fair tax and eliminating the income tax in the state of Georgia for years. And when we talk about the tax structure, we're talking about everything. Income tax, the transportation tax, the motor fuel tax, anything you want to do. So that's also in this bill that it's actually creating this committee. I don't know who's going to be appointed. I have been talking to the speaker who will be appointing the House members about getting on that committee. But I think it's going to have a real opportunity as we move forward to look at our total tax structure in the state and where we really need it to be. And what can we do to eliminate income tax, to compete with the other states that don't have income tax, not only for business and industry, we can do good here, but to help all the citizens. Which was the other bill that I worked on a lot. Got through the hearing, got into the hearing with the Ways and Means Committee, and that was the bill actually eliminating income tax in the state of Georgia. There's actually 3 bills dealing with income tax. Mine was totally eliminated. Representative Carson basically cuts it in half, and Representative Carroll has one that had a 1% reduction. And all of them looking at consumption-based tax as the means to make up that revenue that eliminates the income tax reduction. So that's going to be very important as we move forward through this summer. And with that, I will let Bruce talk about some things, and then we'll answer questions at the end if they have it.
Thank you, Tom. It's like Gary mentioned earlier and alluded to that. Well, first, I'm going to back up a second. What I would say is it's wonderful to work with these guys, but how many of you visited the state capitol this session by show of hands? Or whatever, all the way over. That engagement from Walton County citizens is why Walton County's developed the reputation that we get things done. I want to take a minute and chastise Dessa because Mr. Hobbs might be our #1 local cheerleader of the Walton Crowd, but I'm the statewide cheerleader. And I tell people, when we have a retired general heading up our Walton, and literally, I don't know how many of y'all know that he retired as a general for the Georgia National Guard. He's got outstanding leadership skills. And when we go to see both business leaders and government leaders across this state, and we tell them how through Walton County Chamber of Commerce and Superintendent Hobbs' leadership, along with working with Mr. Nicholson at George Walton Academy and our other Social Circle City schools and Lovingville Christian Academy, when we pull together this Walton Proud initiative, that we talk about each other's strengths and figure out ways to work together, it makes a huge difference with our leaders in both the government and the business level. Don't think that it doesn't make a difference to the people that bring the Baxter type projects to Walton County or these plant expansions that are touched. It makes a huge difference, and we've got many more good prospects ahead of us because of our willingness to get engaged. And on the show of hands showed us how many people are getting involved in the legislative process. So I'll commend all of y'all for doing that. All that being said, I love representing my home county, and God equips all of us with different kind of gifts and talents, and mine just happens to be I came from a business background, and wearing that hat in General Assembly, I've been able to push a lot of pretty good pro-business legislation through. I echo Representative Kirby's sentiments that I'm also an ex-athlete, and I played a lot of defense in my day, especially on the football field, and I do love playing defense when people try to get in our pocketbook at the state house. So I'm in a perfect fit on the Ways and Means Committee. It's what my skill set is. And the stuff that doesn't make the press is the bad public policy that we spend a lot of time killing. I've got a great wingman in the state house, Tom, and a fantastic wingman with Senator Calvin over here. I'll tell you a little bit more about him in a second. So I was successfully navigated 4 bills to the General Assembly this year. I was asked by the Commissioner of the Department of Banking and Finance to carry a major piece of banking legislation this year. It's a 29-page bill, and I promise you I won't get into the nitty-gritty of that, but it's going to be good for our financial institutions and good for the consumers in Georgia. will help facilitate more business. So I'll leave that at the high level. If anybody wants to come go a little bit more about the details, I'm happy to meet with you later about that. I was able to shepherd through an extension of the angel investor tax credit. It's going to be able to help facilitate job growth in the high-tech sector, principally out of our great research coming out of Georgia Institute of Technology, from the University of Georgia, and even Emory University. We were losing a lot of these new birth companies to Silicon Valley, to Houston, and other states across the nation, to Boston for that matter. And by continuing this path, we're helping incubate these companies in Atlanta and retain these companies in Atlanta. We're able to grow jobs at a great return to the taxpayer. I did a couple other pieces of pro-business legislation, but I'm talking for just a minute about my biggest disappointment this session. Those of you in the Rotary Club heard me talk about this Monday, but I was very disappointed in our failure to message properly what our Religious Freedom Restoration Act bill would have done. It is not adverse to business, but it's very much about helping maintain our religious freedom fund. This nation was first and foremost founded upon. The left, and I'll use that word generously, the left has co-opted the issue, making it something it's not. This legislation has been previously adopted by either legislatively or through court actions by 30 other states. There was no bigger champion than President Bill Clinton in 1993 when he pushed through the federal drug-related legislation. And ironically, and I don't know how many of you know this, but a senator, a junior state senator in the state of Illinois, signed their river legislation, voted yes for it in the late 1990s. His name was Senator Barack Obama. Okay. The press doesn't tell you about that. This legislation would just simply say that the government, it could be city, county, or state, government could not interfere with our ability as people of faith to practice our faith unless there was a compelling governmental reason to the contrary. So no, you can't abuse your kids in the name of your church. No, you can't discriminate based on race or color or other factors that are already statutorily protected. Am I correct on this, Senator Council? I'm going to commend Senator Council. This legislation, I was co-signer of the House version of this legislation. It died in committee. Senator Council, through his leadership, got that bill, got legs under it in the Senate, got it out of the Senate, pretty much a bipartisan vote, got it over in our chamber, and I'm ashamed to say that we didn't pick up the ball and carry that across the finish line. It's not about discrimination. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So, in summary, I just like to say it's a joy and a pleasure to represent the people of Walton County, and I'm going to yield the balance of my time to Senator Council. I want y'all to know that he is now the Senate Majority Leader. I doubt he'll brag on that fact. We have a powerful voice representing the people of Walton County in him, and it's just a pleasure to watch him work effectively for the citizens of Walton County in this whole area. So, I'd like to join me in welcoming Senator Bill Council.
Well, I'm not a general yet, and I still take orders from the general. He does communicate very well, loud and clear to us. We know where he stands and what matters to education in Walton County and statewide, and that is still our biggest priority. That's what we dedicate most of our resources to, and what we're striving so hard to try to do in our educational process, both graduation rates, really the competitiveness of our graduates. We want to have a work-ready population. We want these kids to get out of school and be educated enough to be functioning, self-sufficient, productive citizens, and I think we're making great strides in that direction. We met beforehand to kind of divide up the task here, what to talk about. And I thought my job here is to tell you about our process. So many of you, even those that came to the Capitol don't really know what we're doing. It's a bunch of little ants running around. You see them on the floor, and all of us doing our different things, and you're wondering, God, what are they really doing? And how does anybody know what they're voting on, what's happening over there? And it is a lot more organized than it appears. But and I'm willing, by the way, to take questions on any bills because there's a lot of them that might be important to you. Let me just tell you a couple things so you'll know what we do. First of all, the real work gets done in committee. I don't know how many you've got in the House, but we've got close to 25 committees in the Senate, and they're all different subject matters. Might be one just for higher education, agriculture, natural resources, K-12 education, judiciary committee, appropriations that decides how you're going to spend the money. We call ours the Ways and Means in the House, it's their tax policy committee. Ours is called the Finance Committee in the Senate. We have all of these different committees that are looking in great detail at any bill that comes before the Senate. And you ask a lot of questions of different witnesses that will come forward in a committee and advocate on behalf of the bill or argue against it. And it is open to the public. Any one of you can come to any one of our committee meetings and be heard, or just watch and listen. And that's why, Gary knows what's going on, because he's paying attention to what's going through the Education Committee. They make talk about lobbyists that are monitoring and reporting back to you. Kevin Little is the president of the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, and they have a great lobbying board that is watching every bill to see how is this going to impact county governments and municipal governments. Because the big thing that we try not to do, and they keep us from pretty much stop us to give an unfunded mandate on local governments. To tell them, we want to change this rule, and by the way, you implement it at your own expense. If we ever do that, Kevin lights my phone up pretty quick, and I'm like, okay, let's we'll take a look at that. We'll see, make sure what we're doing. But that's really where we are churning out things in that committee process. And a large number of bills never get out of a committee. They get heard, and what Tom's always talked about that I do too, some of the best work we do is kill bad ideas, stop dumb bills that will have unintended consequences. And we do that by vetting them very thoroughly through our committee process. And then, if it gets out of the Senate, it starts all over again in the committee level in the House, and vice versa. And occasionally, this year Bruce had a great one. There was a tax break for a hotel development basically in Savannah, and he called me over and said, Bill, we just passed a bill out that is a little bit dangerous. I'm not totally comfortable with it. I hope y'all will take a real close look at it and perhaps scale that tax break down a little bit. And I'm like, thanks for the heads up, because it may be that I wasn't on that committee, so I told the people needed to know so we could kind of perfect that bill, we call it. But that's where we're churning, doing a lot of work. And so sometimes if you come over and you watch, we might start at 10 a.m. and we have a little sermon of the day. And then we're going to recognize everybody that ever won a Piddly Wings championship. I mean, it's anybody that get recognized. And, a lot of them are great and deserving, but there might be 4 or 5 groups that come up, and sometimes if you look out there, only about half the seats are full. People are back talking to constituents or getting ready for committees or studying bills or whatever. And in the first part of the session, we only have maybe 3 or 4 bills a day that get voted on, and we're out by noon. It's not like we get in the car and drive back home at noon. That's all afternoon of committee meetings, one after another, going through it. Everybody's on 3 or 4 different committees where you kind of specialize. Now, after your bills get through the committee, they then go to what's known as the Rules Committee. That's kind of a super committee that decides which of the bills that have passed out of committee ought to go to the floor for a vote. And that's an important kind of a stopping point there. So because sometimes a bill will get out of committee that doesn't, maybe it's not the greatest idea. That we don't want to put on the board to kind of advance that idea. And so we're kind of a stopgap measure there in the Rules Committee that will sort of be a traffic cop, which bills do go to the floor for consideration by the entire Senate. The House has a similar committee over there, and that's where I guess Tom, a couple of times, I'm on our Rules Committee, and he'd call me up and say, y'all got this bill, that everything's dumb idea, please don't let that on the floor for a vote. So I said, fine, we'll see what we can do to stop that. Stephen, you're here. Patrick called me on the bill. There was an interesting bill that dealt with legal advertisements. Now, if you don't know it, you read all of them. Some of us don't read a single one of them. George Baker and some of the realtors are probably reading every one of them to find out who's getting foreclosed on, where they can snap up a bargain or whatever, you know, and the bankers are looking to see who's in financial trouble. But some people read them, most of us really don't, but they're kind of the lifeblood of the revenue source for local newspapers. And I think community newspapers are very valuable in our society, you know, especially the local Walton Tribune. It lets you know what's going on in your community, and that's important. So Patrick gave me a call and said, Bill, here, y'all got a bill that is going to make those go online so that you don't have to pay to advertise in the paper. It's going to kill us. And I said, Patrick, trust me, that ain't going to get a bug. And he's like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I know that. Because just trust me on this one. That one, I will make sure that doesn't come up. And don't write that in the paper even. In our group, and this is one of the fun things about being in the majority leader post right now, mostly, by the way, that's just it's a function of seniority. If you stick around long enough, you get more seniority than other people. There's so much turnover, you just wouldn't believe it. I just served my 9th year, and I'm now up to number 17 on our seniority list out of 56. So you don't need term limits, because the voters term limit people, they move on to other thing, and I've got the 9th most seniority of Republicans. And so that's how I kind of got in this position. We have a small group that makes these policy decisions. What issues are we going to kill and not even let come to a vote? What agenda are we going to promote and make sure that it does come to a vote? And which ones are we just going to sort of manage the flow so we're not overworked, don't have too many, or whatever. But it's kind of fun sometimes. Bruce sent me a text. The last one is we're setting our calendar. I guess it's for the last day. And we had a day off in between for everybody to get ready. And he said, do I need to come over to your rules committee to get House Bills XYZ, whatever the number of it was, on the calendar? And I was able to send him a text back and said, don't waste your time, son, I got you covered. And we'll make sure it's on that calendar. We all work really close together as a team. Bert Jones too. He's not here because he doesn't really care about Walton County. He's on vacation with past spring break with his kids in Florida. So he told us to let y'all know that I told him I'd have it back. Don't tell him whichever version I told you. But it's really a close delegation. We all think alike. We're all conservative. We're all very engaged. And I mean, did y'all catch everything Tom Curtis said? I know you got all those little numbers and everything now. Because somebody will come up and repeat what that excise and sales and all that. That's how deep he's studying these things, you know. And sometimes you just have to have a little confidence that the people representing you are going to listen to you. They not agree every time, but you're going to listen to what you got to say and consider what's best for our community that we're representing. And we're going to work together, and we're going to diligently study the issues. Tom probably knows more about that tax reform than I care to know. Bruce knows more about banking law, tax law. He's a superstar in the House already. He passed more bills than me and Tom combined this year. He already passed 4 bills during this session because he gets on and learns his issue, knows how to communicate to people, persuade them that it's something that we need. And you have to sometimes, when you have guys like this, you just trust them that they're doing what's best for you, and they might know the fine details, and you're just reading the headline. That's something, you know, sensational or whatever, that might not get the whole story. But that's kind of how the process works over there. And just to give you an idea of the scope, the Senate passed 82 bills out of the Senate. Both bodies have to do it within the first 30 days. You got to pass your bills before you send them over to the other side of the building. The House passed 258. So we're sitting on the Senate, because it's 180 House members, only 56 senators, so it's kind of mathematical. Everybody's still producing so much work. And so we are just wading through that tremendous volume of proposed bills. I don't know how many passed, probably 100 total bills most likely passed, but they were all whittled down from about 1,000 that started, being introduced to begin with. So it's a very interesting, very kind of complex process. Got a lot of really good people involved in it. Nobody's doing it for the money. Everybody's doing it because they care about the state of Georgia and their home communities. And it's a real honor and a privilege to serve you. If y'all got any really hard questions on Bill, let me know. We'll put Tom answer those. Or Bruce, if you got some easy softballs thrown up here, and I'm happy to answer about any kind of subject matter that we dealt with this year. drill this way. I'm a hero in my neighborhood, and from one bill to pass, I live on a little cul-de-sac, and every New Year's Eve, we got a little fire pit out there in the cul-de-sac. We have like a little covered dish up there by and burn our Christmas trees. Fire pit. If you ever seen a Christmas tree burn, you know how come a trailer can burn up like that. They're like fireworks. Well, I'm our fireworks manager because I'm a closet pyromaniac, and I entertain the kids in the neighborhood, who've been having to go to South Carolina something about, and I keep doing this, man. And we're always looking, afraid the cops gonna come around the corner, and that makes it half fun. Breaking the law. We passed a bill this year. Legalize. David, you put that pen back in your pocket. Well, we passed a bill that legalizes Georgia under controlled circumstances. Of course, you couldn't buy them if you're under 18, and it's going to be controlled by the local government. There's a number of outlets they can have, but all of the states around us are allowed fireworks, and so that's something we've got to plan. They love to be in my neighborhood now. We're going to be able to legally shoot them off every July 4th and then January 1st. The Gurley bill, I carried the Gurley bill. It was House Bill 3. Those of you who are football fans get the joke there. Todd Gurley was number 3 for Georgia. He lost his eligibility for 5 to 6 weeks there during the season, and probably lost his chance of winning the Heisman Trophy as a result because he sold some autographs. Well, a memorabilia dealer or whatever induced them to do that all the money, and they know that's illegal, and that can result in the loss of your eligibility in this particular case. What some of them will do is they hook these athletes in, and then they blackmail them and say, if you don't sign with me as your agent or whatever, then I'm going to report you that you sold memorabilia, even though they're the ones buying it and selling it and making money because they were immune from any kind of adverse consequences. So we passed a bill that if you are one of these unscrupulous type people that are inducing college athletes to take actions that may lose their eligibility, you can be prosecuted. Just like we already have a law of booster, that if you pay kids to go to college or whatever, you end up getting your student on probation, you can be prosecuted for having violated those rules against unfair inducements to athletes and whatnot. So this applies to them. Where it's a misdemeanor crime, they can be fined up to $1,500, and they can be sued by the universities that lose revenues as a result of their star athletes being found ineligible. So that was kind of fun, living in Athens. I'm sure I probably got some brand influence there. But it was smart. It was a good idea because when you're talking about these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, a lot of them are from not really wealthy backgrounds, and they're being dangled $100 an autograph or whatever. They can pick up a couple $1,000, but it's going to cost them their eligibility, and knocked us probably out of the Final Four this year in the national championship deal, in my opinion. But we got another good one coming, Nick Chubb. That was fun. Anything else you read about that interests you? There's like I say, huge volume of things that we deal with.
That was one comment.
How come
we're talking about how we work together. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that with all this transportation discussion going on, that ties into how we work together as a community. Chairman Little shared with me that he and our City of Monroe and the Department of Transportation have worked out a compromise agreement to work out the transportation flow from the new 138 extension, where you get off now on the Monroe bypass, and you come up to that new traffic light and take a left. It's backing up forever, and working as a community together with everybody's resources at play. $300,000 is coming from the Walton County Board of Commissioners. $300,000 is coming from the City Council. We have some City Council folks here, there's a Monroe City Council folks here, and $300,000 from the Department of Transportation for about a 1 mile stretch of road. There will be an additional lane that will help relieve that congestion. The main point I want to make is how we work together as a community to get things done. But the other thing I want to point out is that one little stretch of road, half of it's already got a turning lane there, it's gonna cost about $900,000. And that sort of paints the picture for how dire our transportation funding performance has been for the whole state. So that just gives you a good example of how expensive it is. But again, my kudos to the city council, the board of commissioners, and their leadership in getting that project done. So I'm remiss not having mentioned that. And any other questions, or I'm gonna let you turn it back over. Bruce? Okay.
I don't even know who to say this. The potholes on 78 are horrible. I've had to have my tires realigned twice. And I know where they are and pretty much how to avoid it. So all the people that travel 78 who don't live in Walton County, and I'm just talking about our little strip of Walton County, I know it's going to be everywhere, but they're kind of congregated around where all the trucks go in and out.
Send me an email, and I will immediately send it over to the council.
I realized that you were talking about transportation.
Absolutely, that's where the dollars have to come to keep it up. We used to be able to brag about we had the best road system in the state, and we can't say that anymore. This funding mechanism will help get our roads repaired. Seriously, any of you, when you have an issue of concern at the state level, email us as your state leaders. We'll get together with the local leaders and the state departments in charge, and at least we'll answer your question. We can't promise outcomes. We all have to speak to everybody who will work on the problem. That's a good question.
First, I just want to make a comment. ACCG's goal this year was the transportation bill, and I want to congratulate our delegation. That thing was a roller coaster. It was up and down and up and down. Our delegation stayed firm and stayed with the program. Y'all know I did my state of county in December and told you how critical roads were in the state of Georgia and in Walton County. And this right here is going to go a long way to helping the state of Georgia and Walton County. They'll probably get some 78 topping done on that new bill. Y'all don't really know the pressure that they were under from the cities and the counties, both going even opposite ways at times, and put it together, and they all kept their hands on it, and we passed a good piece of legislation. I'd like to give them a round of applause.
Are there any plans really good for the expansion for the exit right there, Open Broad, 11, just right from that? And that's right when you get off of 78 and you're getting off of Highway 1. Where that, just,
well,
is that interchange?
I think Chairman Little would probably do it better to answer that question, but again, so the question is where you talk about going eastbound.
East and west, I mean, because
Well,
that's where development's going to go,
well,
so our question is.
Right at the intersection of the bypass and Highway 11. So the whole, and again, this is before my time, but a lot of the theory behind the Charlotte Raleigh extension of the Boulevard was to alleviate a lot of that congestion right there at that spot. But as far as any more laneage there or a traffic light, I do not know the answer to that question. Chairman Little.
Bruce, I will hear you other I hear that on behalf of the association. For listening to us and taking some of the burden off of us. It's kind of critical for us to you guys took the time to listen to us, and I think it's come out with a great deal.
And not to be, well, thank you for those kind of words, but we've got some of our constitutional officers here. 3 of you, right? Is any other constitutional officers here today? Because Judge Wright and Jerry Boyd, they do a great job. They all of our constitutional officers had bills that were impactful back to the citizenry of Walton County, and they all did a great job of communicating with all of us to get things done. So I'll shut up.
Let's continue in closing house all of your questions, and we'll really proud to be part of this delegation. We are your voice in government, no matter if it's potholes or anything else. On here, this number they've got me, the legislative office building, the administrative system down there every day. If you call the within 2 minutes, you're going to email me or call me or send me a text with your number to call you back. Anything I publish that actually has my personal cell phone. I always enjoy answering the call. Listen to people stutter because they're expecting to get a secretary an answer. But to be your voice, and whether it's Bruce or Bill or even Bert, you know, we've got to hear from you. And so, any problems, concerns, pick up the phone, call us, send us an email, text us. We're happy to hear from you anytime.
Let's give our representatives and senators.
Hello Walton County, this is Kevin Littlewood, Chairman's Report, Channel 16, Walton Entertainment. Today it's a little rainy, misty, cool outside, and as we go into spring, it may not have as many days like this, but I'm just, as the old traffic engineer from Walton County, I've actually just traveled from Athens to Loganville back to Monroe on US 78, and I just want to talk to you about some things I've observed. Texting and driving is illegal in the state of Georgia. And I probably 1 out of every 4 cars the person was texting, and the problem that I saw there is you're in the left lane, which is the fast lane, and you're holding up traffic. Georgia law passed last year in the legislature was to, if you're slower than the person than in your lane, move to the right lane. And I did notice that on several occasions that you were impeding traffic and you'd ride up beside somebody and you'd be side by side. So please, move over, move to the right lane, and that way it'll make people travel a lot quicker. Also, we've become reliable on our automobiles and trucks to turn the lights on for us. Rainy, foggy day, white vehicle, gray vehicle, you can't see them on a day like today. I guarantee you that half of the cars that I met on 78 highway and that 30-mile trek right there didn't have their headlights on. Yep, your switch cuts it on when it's nighttime, but a bright day like a 2 o'clock in the afternoon kind of day, if it's rainy and misty, we can't see you. And 2-lane roads, 4-lane roads, wherever, make sure you turn that switch on because that's very important in preventing accidents. People can see you and you can see them as they approach. And so that's a little safety tip from my traffic engineering days. And while we're already talking about roads, I did want to let you know that Charlotte-Rowell Boulevard is in the final stages of being. The planning is waiting to be approved, and they're working on it, Georgia DOT. It'll be 1 through lane just going westbound on 138. It'll pick up the Walmart turning lane, and it will go across the intersection there at Spring, and will terminate out in front of Tractor Supply. What this should do, carry as many, double the amount of cars through that intersection, which should allow the backup that's been going back to the new road to be alleviated. Also, a part of this, you won't be able to come out of the Walmart entrance and exit there and turn left anymore. It'll be a right in, right out, right there at Chick-fil-A. So you won't be able to do that. That'll be a part of that. You'll have to go out to the red light down on the Spring Street side if you want to make a turn. So that's a major improvement there. The Board of Education is going to be opening up the middle school on Bay Creek Church Road, which is off 78 at Split Silk. And we have been working on center turn lane up through there. Also, there will be a right turn back at the 78 entrance of Bay Creek Road and the 78. And on the other end, the DOT has got the numbers for a traffic signal there, and they're evaluating it to see what if it meets the traffic warrants for signalization. I understand that they'll be following the middle school with a K-5 school there, so they're going to be a good bit of traffic. And generally, we live in Monroe, so most of us, if we're going to Gwinnett County, we use that as a bypass around Loganville anyway. So we're also doing a study to see what it would cost to widen that road 2 feet on each side. It's just an old 20-foot wide road and seems to be very narrow when you meet a truck or a bus. So we're getting starting the paving season. Will be coming up here end of this month, 1st of April. As many of you know, we had a hard winter, very cold days, very wet days. And when you have cold, wet days, as I've told you many times before, the water under the road bed will freeze. And then when you run over it, it acts like a springboard and it cracks the asphalt and the water gets in. And then your road surface sinks. And so that causes a pothole. So there are going to be numerous potholes. We're going to be out working on them. And as you can see, the US 78 from Monroe to Athens is in horrible condition. It is And we don't have anything to do with that. Any state route is handled by Georgia DOT, but we're gonna have enough to take care of on the county side. So we'll be working with that and trying to get that took care of. If you do see any road problems, don't hesitate to call our Public Works Department at 770-267-1350. They'll get a work order in and get it took care of for you. We rely on you, the citizens, to inform us of what's going on out on our roads, because we can't be on every mile every day. And so the eyes and ears of the public is very important to us. If you have any questions or concerns, anything I've discussed, or want to talk about anything in Walton County in particular, give me a call, please, at 770-267-1316. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Jenna Daniel at the UGA Extension Walton County office. Today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about some of the 4-H camp opportunities we have for the youth of Walton County this summer. This summer we offer 5 summer camps from youth ranging from 5th grade all the way to 12th grade at all 4 4-H centers throughout the state of Georgia, from the ocean to the mountains and even just an hour away at Rock Eagle. The first camp we'll talk about today is for our 5th and 6th grade 4-Hers. This is Cloverleaf Camp. Cloverleaf Camp takes place at Rock Eagle 4-H Center, just an hour away from here at Eatonton, Georgia. 5th and 6th grade 4-Hers are invited to attend June 29th through July 30th. While at camp, 4-Hers will experience the talent show, 2 swimming pools with water slides, a high ropes course, sailing, lake ecology, and archery. The second camp we'll be talking about today is Marine Resource Camp, July 20th through the 24th at Burton 4-H Center on Tybee Island. 7th and 8th grade Walton County 4-Hers are invited to attend, and they will participate in activities such as dissecting a squid, have plenty of beach time, dolphin watching, they'll explore the marsh, and they'll learn about crabs and critters that live in the ocean. As you can see, Walton County 4-H is offering tons of opportunities for your 4-Hers this summer with 4-H Summer Camp. If you have questions or would like to learn more about the prices, the dates, or any other items for 4-H camp this summer, give us a call at 770-267-1324.
Hey, thanks for tuning in today. As usual, we're going to show you some dogs and cats that are available here at the Walton County Animal Control Shelter. If you don't know, our shelter is located at the corner of Highway 11 and South Madison Avenue. We're right behind the Walton County Sheriff's Office. Might be a little bit hard to find, but you'll see some blue signs up at the road, and just come down behind the jail, and that's where we're located. We're open to the public Monday through Friday. You can come by anytime from 2 to 4:45 to see what animals are available in the shelter. Or you can go online at waltonpets.net. We try to list all of the animals there that are available for adoption. If you submit an application, you can make an appointment to come in the morning. We're also open some Saturdays out of the month from 10 to 2. You can check our website for the hours that we have on Saturdays, and some Saturdays that will be closed. As always, our adoption fee is only $40. We haven't gone up on that fee, but we've begun to add heartworm testing, vaccinating, deworming, all kinds of things. You can't get that at a veterinarian's office for $40, and we include that all in that adoption fee. So there's no reason to go out and buy an animal, buy a dog, buy a cat. Come down to your local shelter. There's a lot of animals here that need homes, and if they don't get homes, the story isn't so good for them. So before you buy or breed, consider your local animal shelter, Walton County Animal Control. Now we'll show you some of the animals that are currently here.
Come here. No. Oh. Oh. I have a 6-month-old female. She's a mixed breed. She's really sweet. She needs some time to be spent with her. She's not good on a leash, but she's a real sweet dog. Needs a good living home, and of course she'll need to be spayed.
Sit, 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 sit. Here we have a male pit. He's about 6 to 8 months old. He's really sweet, really friendly. We've been calling him Cadbury for Easter, but as you see, he's ready to go and play. And he would have to be neutered in 30 days of adoption.
Poor old girl's named Sable. She's a senior dog. She was picked up as a stray a couple weeks ago, and she had a microchip. We tried to call the owner and left a message, but no one ever called back. So basically she's left unwanted here in the shelter. She's an older girl, but you know what? Sometimes the senior dogs are really a joy to rescue. They're calm, they're quiet, they don't cause any problems in the house, and it's so much better for them to spend their last years in someone's house than in a shelter. So needs a little bit of work. She's got some hair loss and might need some other veterinary care. But what a pleasure it'd be to save a dog. We've been networking her and trying to get her into rescue, and hopefully that'll come through for her pretty soon.
Where do you come alive? A stadium, lecture hall, a music hall, church potluck? This year, you have a new spot, walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.
Good morning, I'm Keith Glass, City of Monroe Police Department, and I got Lieutenant Tracy Hanson with me today. And what we want to do is point out a problem that's not only citywide, but it's probably a nationwide, statewide, and countywide problem, and that's just litter. And while this is not the most devastating crime that we deal with in the city of Monroe, as you can see from the video, it's a lot of trash, and we're standing right here at the East Spring Street exit coming off 78 Highway, and this litter was picked up about 10 or 12 days ago. And what I'm want to express to you is this is your community. If you see somebody littering, go ahead and call the 911, give them a tag number, and officers inside the city will respond to that. If you can't call 911 for some reason, if you can take down a tag number, Lieutenant Tracy Hanson's going to kind of be heading up something for me on this litter for a while, and I'd ask that you just email her the tag number. Her email is thanson@monroega.gov. That's thanson@monroega.gov. And again, it's your community, and as you can see, and he'll scan around and show you some more trash, but this trash was picked up with community service by community service workers about 12 days ago, and you can see how much is built up. So we really need your assistance, and we're looking at some ways also of places where we have a lot of this, maybe getting some video out there so we can catch them also on video. But we just need your help with that, and if you have any other problems with the crime or whatever in the city of Monroe that we can help you with, please contact us at the City of Monroe Police Department.
I just look forward to hearing from citizens here in the community, and we can work together and hopefully make Monroe not only a safer place, but more appealing to the eye. And just like Chief said, just email me with any problems. If you see anyone littering, or if you can get a tag number, and we can follow up with those people, just email me, thanson@monroega.gov.
And we thank you for your help.
You've known for years that this is the #1 cause of lung cancer, smoking. That's why the Surgeon General issued this warning. But do you know the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers? It's in this room. You can't see it or smell it. It's radon. Radon is an invisible radioactive gas that seeps inside your home from underground. It can build up to dangerous levels without notice. Now the Surgeon General has issued another lung cancer warning. And whether you smoke or not, breathing radon can cause lung cancer. That's why you need to have your home tested. Protect your family. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. Heed the warning. Have your home tested, because radon problems can be fixed.
Preserve your family's video history for the generations to come. Creative Artists, 1113 West Spring Street, Monroe, 770-267-7368.